Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is how to format cell borders. Now, this little icon here that has this little grid is where you get your borders options. Now, if you hover your mouse over these different options, you're going to see that it's going to tell you what type of border you can create with a cell. So you have all borders, inside borders, left border, upper border, and so on and so forth. Now, if we click on one of these, let's say we go with outside borders. So I have one cell selected. Now that I've clicked that, if I click away, you're going to see that there's a black border around that cell. Now we can do this for one cell, or we can do this for multiple cells at a time. So let's say we selected these three. Again, click, hold down, drag the three, release. I have 3 cells selected. So I'm going to go back to my borders tool, and I'm going to say all borders. Now you're going to notice that all of these borders have been selected. So this is pretty straightforward as to how this is done. Now I can just undo these like I already did. But I want to talk about a little bit more on this. There's a couple of different options now. So let's say we select these 2 cells and I want to create all borders. But let's say that I want to change the color of the border. I can click on border color right here and change it. So let's say I want to have red borders. Another option that I have also is to select the border style. So I can do solid lines in varying from narrow to thicker, and then I can also have dotted lines and then a doubled line. So let's say I wanted to create a red border that was a dotted line of this type. I click on that, and then when I click on all borders, you're going to notice there's dotted red lines around all that. All right, so it's pretty straightforward if you look at how to use borders. Again, we can change our color, we can change our border line style, and you just select the cells that you want to put a border around, select the border style you want, and then you just then click on whatever type of borders you want. So for instance, if I'm copying my other sheet, I want to select all of these, and I believe I just put a border around the outside of those ones. So now you can see I put a thick black border around the outside of my category headings. Now, the best way to use borders is obviously to create visual separations between data points that show that there's a difference between one data point and another. And how I've used it here is create an even further emphasis on the fact that these are my category headings and they're separate from these, and these data points correlate with these up here. So that's just a quick run through on how you use cell borders, how to use them differently, and how you can use them to show a separation between different types of information on a spreadsheet.